Hi, this is Scott Hamilton from InKnowVision. Thanks for watching this webcast. This is one of a series of short videos on captive insurance companies that we put together, hopefully to help you understand a little bit more about how a captive insurance company could work for you. If you want to see more of these videos, you can search for them on YouTube. Just type in the search box InKnowVision and captives. You can also find more information on our website, which is shown here on the screen at the bottom, InKnowVision.com. Keep in mind that these videos are educational. They're not designed to be tax advice. And if you get a chance, read the disclaimer on the last page of the slideshow for more information. If you have any questions or would like to have a conversation about whether captive insurance is good for you, feel free to contact us. There are a couple different ways you can do that. There's a phone number on this page and an email address, and they'll be again on the last slide if you miss them here. But that's probably the best way to do it. Is if you're at all interested, give us a call. We can probably spend 10 or 15 minutes going through the basics and qualify your business, and if it looks good, then you're interested, we can move into more detail. Today we're going to be talking about captive insurance companies and some of the coverages. A lot of business owners wonder what it is that they might have for risks and what kind of coverages might be out there. There are as many different coverages as there are types of business and business operators, but we'll go through a couple of them just to give you sort of a sample of some of the ones that people have used in the past. And if you're interested, we can provide you with a much more detailed list, sort of a tool that we use to help understand what risks might exist in your particular business. So captive insurance companies, first of all, are real insurance companies. They're licensed, they're operating under the insurance laws of whatever jurisdiction makes sense for your particular case. And as an insurance company, they're in the business of insuring risk. These could be operating risks, they could be general liability risks, they could be pure business risks or deductibles, or even exclusions. So you've got a couple of examples here under business risk. For example, you could have you could lose a key supplier. You could be someone who makes certain steel products, and you buy your steel from a key supplier, and all of a sudden they get priced out of business and you're out of a supplier, and now you've got to go out and find a new supplier. You may not be able to get steel at the same price. It may cost you more money. This is just one example, but obviously every business has suppliers at some level. Sometimes they're more important than others. If they're important, then you can insure against the risk of loss. Same thing, key customer. We have a client of ours out on the West Coast whose customer is essentially a giant Fortune 100 company. They do probably 85% of their business with this one customer. If the big company decided for some reason or other that they wanted to take their business elsewhere, which, again, I don't say at all that that's going to happen, but if it did happen, it would be a crippling loss for this particular business. The good news for this business is that as a result of some of this analysis, they realized a little bit more sharply what it would mean to lose this customer, and they have started to diversify. They used to be at almost 100% business for this customer, and they've started to diversify away. But it doesn't have to be just a situation like this. It could be a key customer that might be 20 or 25% of your business, even 15 or 20% of your business. So it's just going to depend on your particular facts and circumstances. You could also insure for the loss of a license to operate. We've got a trucking company as client, and one of their key concerns would be if somehow they were no longer able to operate their over-the-road trucks. But there are other types of licenses, Gloria. There are FCC licenses, there are professional licenses, there are all sorts of licenses that business owners may have and need to operate, and if they were to lose them, it would be a big loss, and those are things that you can insure. Deductibles is another area where you can look. We have other clients who have looked at their existing third-party insurance, and we've looked with them at their deductibles, and in a couple of cases we've been able to say to them, listen, you don't really have any claims in this one type of coverage. You probably want to continue the coverage, but would you be willing to take additional risk by increasing your deductible if it would decrease significantly your premium? And of course the answer is I would definitely look at that. And so if we increase deductibles, that means the business owners taking a larger risk themselves. But one of the things that we can do is to reinsure that deductible risk with the captive. Same thing for exclusions. A lot of times people have business liability policies. They don't necessarily read them with a fine-tooth comb, and oftentimes they don't read them with the idea that someday they may have to make a claim. And a lot of times what you'll find is that something that you thought might be covered or should be covered isn't covered. It's actually excluded from coverage or omitted from coverage. And again, those are things that you might consider insuring through your captive. We've got some other I've got some other things here that are not on the slides, but we've got clients who are insuring for advertising liabilities. So maybe their advertising department issues some kind of an ad that is a false claim, or maybe there's just an error in it. You've all seen it where United Airlines or one of the big airlines makes a pricing mistake online, and somebody comes in and buys a round the world ticket for $2.50 instead of $25,000. A lot of times the airlines will go ahead and honor that. Sometimes they have to honor it. But that's the sort of thing we're talking about. Advertising liability could be copyright infringement or patent infringement. You might be doing something as part of your business operations that are violating a patent, or you may use someone's material without realizing that it's been copyrighted. Again, those are things that can be insured against and often aren't part of your general business package with your third-party insurer. Some other examples: deceptive trade practices, directors and officers liability, protection insurance against administrative action. So we have the same trucking company that a couple years ago had a guy, one of their truck drivers was carrying hazardous materials, and there was an accident, and there was a big spill all over the highway. And as a result of that, there was an EPA, both state and federal, investigation that took up a huge amount of time, slowed the business down for a long period of time, had a lot of professional lawyer fees and not chemical people, but scientists that had to come in, test soil and test all that stuff to make sure that there was no long-term damage to the land. Very expensive, not covered by their normal business lines. So a good opportunity to look at a captive there. Business interruption. More and more businesses are operating overseas. Sometimes you're operating in areas that maybe not be quite so safe, that maybe have military action going on. And in that case, you could see some interruption to your business. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be overseas to see that. I'm just saying more and more people operating outside of the U.S. in various levels of political climate safety might see business interruption as a real risk, and again, that would be an appropriate risk to use a captive for. So that's just a touch on a few of the types of risks that some business owners might face. As part of our process, what we'll do is work with you, work with senior management if that's appropriate for your company, and we'll also work with an experienced underwriter to help develop the areas of risk that might face your company, and that might be appropriate risks to insure through a captive insurance company. So again, we're just talking about a small piece of the overall captive picture, and we'd love to have a chance to talk with you or open a conversation through email, whatever you like. Our phone number is there, the email address is there. Feel free to give us a call or write us. We will do our absolute best to work with you to answer your questions and to help you make an intelligent decision about whether captive insurance might be right for you. If you're simply looking for more information, more videos, we do have more videos about different aspects of captives. You can find us on YouTube, as I mentioned before. Just search in InKnowVision and captives, and you'll get to, I think a little over a dozen videos on various aspects of captives. I'd like to thank you very much for listening, and I hope to get a chance to talk to you in the future. Thank you.